call me Mystic Mac because I predict these things.
Tatsuro Taira takes on Hyun Sung Park this Saturday as the main event for UFC Fight Night in the Apex. And this is a short notice fight they put together. Tatsuro Taira was initially supposed to be fighting Amir Albazi, who got pulled for undisclosed medical reasons. So Hyun Sung Park taking the fight on short notice. He was initially training for Steve Erceg, which was also a short notice fight. So I think he had notice for that fight for like 3 weeks. So definitely going to have the shorter camp in this one. Who knows if he was training or not, but Tatsuro Taira having a full camp coming into this one. So going to be interesting to see how this one plays out, because Hyun Sung Park is no slouch on the ground in terms of his grappling. He's very good, well-rounded, and Tatsuro Taira is just he's very good grappler, really good control and everything. So we'll see how this one plays out. But Tatsuro Taira, very young, 25 years old, 5'7", with a 70-inch reach, and he is 16-1. His lone loss coming in his last fight against Brener Royval. He lost by split decision. I think he lost three of the 5 rounds in that one, so was a minus 300 favorite going into that one, and lost that one against Royval, who is very good. So no shame in that loss. So we'll see if he can get back in the win column here. But he's a clean technical striker, but he is more of a grappler. He did have a TKO win over Carlos Hernandez. Good calf kicks against Edgar Shirez, I think it was. But his bread and butter is the grappling. Really good takedowns and uncanny ability to take the back. He had taken the back against Royval for like 2 straight rounds on that one. And just has really good scrambles, really good submissions. And if he gets hurt, if he gets tired, he can always resort to the ground game, pull and guard, looking to clinch and get a hold of guys. He has 45% takedown defense, so he can be taken down, and 44% takedown accuracy. So almost 50% of his takedowns that he's shooting, he's getting, and he'll chain those together, and he'll shoot takedowns relentlessly. Was getting hurt and dropped by Roval in their fight. Looked like in the 3rd round he was starting to tire a bit as well, and was dropped by Edgar Shirez in round 1. So cardio can be a concern, and his chin can be a concern as well, which is concerning taking on Hyun Sung Park, who is taking this on short notice, but he is 10-0, 5-0 in the UFC. I think he's got 9 finishes in a row now. Very well rounded. He's 29 years old, so barely into his prime. 5'7" with a 66-inch reach, so he's gonna have a 4-inch reach disadvantage in this one against Taira. He's just very well rounded though. On the ground, obviously he's got submissions. On the feet, he's got knockouts. Light on the feet, very crisp striker. Fast combos, moves very well. Very physically strong for the division. I think he'll be the stronger guy in this one. Has really good leg kicks to set up his strikes. Good body kicks. I think he had a liver kick KO over Shannon Ross, I think it was. Yeah, that was 2 fights ago. Throws to the body, the head very well, mixes up his targets, and has good counter strikes as well as striking moving forward. And in terms of moving forward, has really good forward pressure, cuts off the cage well, and puts a high pace on guys. Has good ground and pound as well. Really good grappling with submission ability. Obviously, half of his wins coming by submission and 100% takedown defense. So I'm gonna go with Hyun Sung Park in this one. I think that his takedown defense will be able to hold up against someone like Taira. A concern of mine with Park is he can be hit. He was knocked down twice on the road to the UFC, so can be hurt and in fights. But I just don't think Taira's the type of guy to be able to land on him. I think he's gonna be looking to throw punches, maybe just to set up his takedowns. But I think Park's a little bit more well-rounded and will be the bigger fighter, the stronger guy. I think he has the ability to outstrike Taira, defend the takedowns, and just kind of dictate where this fight takes place. He has the submission ability against Taira as well, and the grappling ability to kind of nullify what Taira does best. Royval, who's a little bit skinnier, a little bit more wiry than Park, he was having success in the grappling and the scrambles versus Taira in the last fight. Like I said, he was hurting him on the feet, and I think Hyun Sung Park, he's very well matched against somebody like Taira. He does, I think he does not everything better. I think he puts it all together a little bit better. I think he's a better striker. I think he's got more finishing potential on the feet, and I think he's got the wrestling and submission skills to stay safe on the ground, or get it back up to the feet, or even threaten Taira as well. He does have 4 or 5 submissions in his game. So he's undefeated right now, 10-0. Tons of momentum going into this one. His last fight was against Carlos Hernandez back in May. Got the quick rear naked choke in the 1st round, didn't really take any damage, and now hopping right back in there a few months later against Taira with, coming off of 10 straight wins. Tatsuro Taira coming off of his first career loss. Who really knows where his head's at? But Taira, he has to get this to the ground to win, in my opinion. And I don't see Park allowing him to do that or being able to keep him there or really threatening him on the ground. Maybe if he can continue to push a high pace and look for takedowns and get a lot of grappling going, Hyun Sung Park will fade just because he hasn't had a full training camp and he's never been in a 5-round main event. He's never trained for that. So that is a concern of mine. Just that he took it on short notice, and you know, we're unsure about his cardio because, you know, a lot of his other fights did and obviously all of them ended by finish. He only went to decision one time, and that was his pro debut. That was almost 6-7 years ago. So taking a fight on short notice that could potentially go 5 rounds with a guy who's gone 5 rounds before is kind of concerning. But all things equal, I think that he is a little bit more skilled and a little bit better all around in terms of total MMA skill set than Taira. He hasn't fought the level of competition that Taira has, but I think he still has, you know, good wins on his record. Hasn't shown any real chinks in his armor other than getting knocked down a few times, like I spoke to earlier. So I'm gonna go with Park. Been in there, been a little bit more active, has more momentum. Fought 2.5 months ago. Taira hasn't fought since October. And you got to remember, Taira was looking to fight against Amir Albazi. He's having to change and switch up opponents completely as well at the last second. So I'm going to go with Hyun Sung Park. I think he can do enough to win rounds and get a decision over Tatsuro Taira. I don't know if he'll get the finish over him. Maybe he can finish him on the feet, but I'm not sure what the odds are. They haven't released him yet. I imagine Hyun Sung Park is probably an underdog just because you know, taking this on short notice, first main event, things like that. But I'm going to go with Hyun Sung Park to get the win over Tatsuro Taira by decision. Thanks.